So, is Lana Del Rey going country? She recently announced that she's releasing her new album, which is a follow-up to Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, which, did you know that that Ocean Boulevard, I believe, is referencing this one right here in Long Beach? Literally a 30-second walk from where I'm sitting right now. Like, if I step outside, I can see Ocean Boulevard. I believe that that's the same Ocean Boulevard that Lana Del Rey is referencing in that album title. If you know different, let me know. But Lana Del Rey announced that she's releasing a new album. That prior album, by the way, was immensely successful. It was nominated for the Album of the Year Grammy. This is the second time that she's been nominated for Album of the Year. So this was kind of her second career highlight of an album, with the other one being Norman effing Rockwell, which was the first collab that she had with super producer Jack Antonoff. Jack Antonoff also produced Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? So the chemistry and the track record between Lana Del Rey and Jack Antonoff at this point has been phenomenal. Jack Antonoff is the super producer who is the three consecutive time Producer of the Year Grammy winner. Lana Del Rey hasn't won Album of the Year yet. I actually thought that she should have won with Norman effing Rockwell, but yeah, it's been a dynamic duo between her and Jack Antonoff, and Jack Antonoff will also be one of the main producers for this upcoming album, The Right Person Will Stay, an album that Lana Del Rey says will have country leanings. Now, when she had first announced that she was releasing a new album, the album was supposedly titled Lasso. She has since changed that to The Right Person Will Stay. She's also recently gotten married, and this new album is supposed to come out May 21st. So when Lana Del Rey drops, it's kind of becoming more and more of an event, right? She has really ascended into a big pop star. I don't know if I would call her a superstar just yet, but I mean, she just headlined this prior Coachella, which is really a far cry from where she had started off. Like, if you rewind the clock to when she had dropped her debut album, remember she had that controversial SNL performance where she like totally botched the performance. People were like kind of humiliating her online, and it was really kind of a reputation hit to her. So the public, it seemed, was really on the fence, or even worse than on the fence. They were kind of not buying Lana Del Rey and her aesthetic presentation, and just her kind of coming out of nowhere seemingly and getting all this attention. There were a lot of skeptics. Well, album over album, she has really gained and built credibility. I mean, she kind of won me over really with that Ultra Violence album, the one with Brooklyn Baby. I think Brooklyn Baby was track 4, and by the time I got to that point of the album, I'm like, damn, she's kind of cooking with gas. Like, she's got this like sound, which, yes, it does derive from other sounds, you know, other dream pop sounds, other kind of dark pop, chamber pop sounds. Yes, Lana Del Rey is evidently influenced, but listen to how she kind of crafts and builds her own unique style using those different influences. Like, who would you say she derives from? Is it Nico of Velvet Underground and Nico fame? You let me know who you think Lana Del Rey's most obvious musical influences are. When you listen to Lana Del Rey and her style, who is she taking from? But I do think that the final recipe results in something that is kind of unique. Like, you know, when you're getting that lush, dream pop, cinematic, dark sound of Lana Del Rey. And she's worked with different producers over the years. She didn't start working with Jack Antonoff in the beginning. She had worked with Emil Haney to start her career. That Ultra Violence album was produced by Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys. By the time you get to Honeymoon, she's working with Rick Nowels and Kieran Menzies. Pretty much the same for her following album, Lust for Life. That's one where she started having more hip hop collabs, collaborating with like A$AP Rocky. It was still mostly Rick Nowels and Kieran Menzies, but you also got some Benny Blanco. You got that Emil Haney from earlier in her career, also producing a little bit on Lust for Life. You've got one track produced by Metro Boomin. So she mixed it up a bit on Lust for Life, and it was the album after that that was really kind of the turning point. I mean, she was building credibility and building her reputation over those last couple of releases. They were reviewed and received pretty well critically and pretty commercially successful, but it was really that Norman effing Rockwell album that was like a Album of the Year contender. Like, on those Pitchfork and different publications lists at the end of the year, you could argue that Norman effing Rockwell was the most successful, most critically acclaimed album of that year. So that was really the turning point to where there was no doubt Lana Del Rey from that point forward was taken seriously, period. And then she dropped 2 back-to-back albums like within the same year, Chemtrails Over the Country Club and Blue Banisters. And then it was after that that she dropped Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard. And it's kind of interesting because you would think that with these latest albums that her chart success would have gotten better and better, but it was actually her earlier work that was charting higher. Like, she hasn't had a #1 album like on Billboard 200, hasn't had a #1 album since Lust for Life, before Norman effing Rockwell. Her chart placement, her chart peaks after that were 3, 2, 8, and then 3. Her only 2 #1 albums on Billboard were Lust for Life and Ultraviolence. So between that and the fact that her most successful singles chart-wise on the Hot 100, those were also earlier in her career. So her critical acclaim has elevated, even if she's not like cranking out #1 singles or anything like that. Like, if you look at her chart placement for her singles, she's not like a singles type of artist. Like, her albums are really some of those greater than the sum of their parts types of projects. So yeah, this has been a very interesting career to witness. And my thoughts on this upcoming The Right Person Will Stay album in terms of what I expect in answering the question, is Lana Del Rey going country? I think the answer is kinda. Like, I don't think that we can expect her to sound like Miranda Lambert or something with this next release. I don't think it's gonna be your typical country. I think it's gonna skew more Americana. Think Lucinda Williams or Waxahachie in her last couple of releases. But I don't even think she's going that country. I think it's gonna be a little bit more Beyonce-like, not in the style, but in that Beyonce's album still sounded like a Beyonce album, but it contained some elements of country. I think that the term that Lana Del Rey used in one of her statements was Southern Goth or something like that. I think that it's gonna still maintain a lot of Lana Del Rey's musical aesthetic. I think that it's still gonna have that lush, kind of woozy, dreamy, engulfing sound, but it might be a little bit stripped back. And I think you're gonna get some country and Southern references. Like, she might, be singing about horses more. Not like she's never sung about horses before. And I mean, didn't she have an early single called Blue Jeans? But I think that it's gonna be more obviously country in her lyrics and in the production, which won't only be Jack Antonoff. It's gonna be Jack Antonoff, Drew Erickson, and Luke Laird. Luke Laird is a country songwriter, producer, whereas Drew Erickson, he's produced for like Angel Olsen, Father John Misty, Wise Blood. So kind of that indie singer-songwriter style producer, Drew Erickson. And he did work on Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? He did songwrite and produce on that album as well. But yeah, I don't think that she's gonna go full country. I don't think this is gonna be a total stylistic shift. I think it's still gonna sound a lot like a Lana Del Rey album, but with more nods to country music and to Americana music. When I think Americana, I mean, not to sound like I'm introducing the political element, but I almost look at Americana as being left-leaning country music. Like, some people call it alt country, even though there is some overlap, I think, between alt country and Americana. But like, when I think alt country, I think like Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson, artists like that. Americana, I feel like it dates back to where you could even talk about some of the 60s and 70s acts like the Byrds when they got into their folk rock style, like the album Sweetheart at the Rodeo. I look at Gillian Welch as being Americana, Steve Earle, certain Bob Dylan albums even. But it's gonna be interesting to hear if Lana Del Rey kind of skews away from that drowsy sound and starts doing some upbeat, folky sounding songs. That would be kind of interesting to hear, because I want to hear how her voice translates into a more slightly upbeat style. But again, I don't expect her to try to reinvent her wheel. I think that it's going to still sound a little bit overcast and a little bit dreary. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are going into this upcoming Lana Del Rey album. Like, I don't even think that this album's finished. I think that she kind of punted the album release date all the way to May. And I think that she's gonna work on it over time. So maybe some of what she's saying about the album is gonna change a little bit between now and its actual release. But yeah, let me know what you think of Lana Del Rey. Let me know if you have a favorite album of hers. For me, I would say Norman effing Rockwell is probably still my favorite, followed by either Did You Know That There's a Tunnel, or maybe either Honeymoon or Ultraviolence. I really like that Ultraviolence album. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.